I had to.
That just threw me off so much. Breeze, that shit was good. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. I don't know what that was. That was like Sick Penguin or something like that, man. How y'all feeling today, fam? Another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Back at it again. No football today, and actually an opportunity to break down a little bit of NBA. Something that, listen, kid's having a good day today because of it. I said, hey, let's talk NBA. This man sent me 17 topics instantly. That's how he was
Man, you know it. It's my specialty now.
But man, we got the Bulls in-season tournament schedule, what games they're going to get. I mean, like, the in-season tournament is strange. But what is the NBA really trying to do with it, and are they going to accomplish it? We'll talk about that on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. I've even got an idea that I think actually could make the NBA interesting, but it absolutely brings back the way that basketball was early on in the 2000s. We'll talk about that as well. Let's jump into today's episode, man. Why is Mitch Trubisky trending on Twitter?
Bro, I thought
Trubisky greater than Pickett. Hey, that was a dot. That was the first thing I see. That was a dot. I can't even lie. It was a nice pass. I heard he was struggling though. So, hey, it is what it is. Let's jump into this, kid, because Bulls in-season tournament. Basically, November 3rd, we play the Nets. November 17th, we play the Magic. November 24th, we play the Raptors. November 28th, we play the Celtics. And of course, if we win out and all of that, right, we end up going into whatever like that final round is versus it's here's my question. Does anyone care? These are regular season games. You're trying to make the regular season interesting. Is this the thing that's going to do it? It's good to have this news. It's good to be able to talk about what the Bulls are going to have to go through. But in reality, right, you're still playing the Nets. You're still playing the Magic. You're still playing the Raptors. You're still playing the Celtics. You were going to play them anyway.
You know, for the interesting thing about it is it's trying to embrace a more international way of play. And I get why Adam wants to do it. I hate the idea. I'm against the in-season tournament for sure. I think it's probably one of the worst things he could have done. But if this is to replace the All-Star game, I get it. Here's the thing, though. It's so new that I don't know what to make of it yet. It's so new for our style of play and what we do here that I don't want to sit there and kill it before it takes off. But at the end of the day, if you win your mid-season, you actually play more than 82 games.
You'll play 83 basically.
But now you're looking
which
at
also happened. Who did that last year? I think Mikal Bridges did that.
Mikal Bridges did it. Yeah,
Mikal Bridges played 83 games last season.
But here's the thing, though. So you've now increased the level of play while also kind of mandating that if you want to hit certain accolades or benchmarks for your contract incentives, you have to play a certain amount of games. I don't see those two kind of coinciding. Like, I don't see how you can increase the level of play and then expect me to and pretty much increase the difficulty and then expect me to qualify for anything, play 65 games. I don't see that working out. Something is going to have to give, and I don't see that really being it when I put it in full perspective, because the game is faster. It is more taxing from that perspective. Like, it's not more physical. I want people to understand the physicality of the game has changed, but it is a much faster game than it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So now it's like, yo, you've done that. That's more taxing on the body in a different way. That's going to increase a lot of these soft tissue injuries and stuff like you see. Like, that's going to increase.
See, I don't care about none of that. You want to know why? Because while the game was slower back in the 90s, the fix for everything was go sit in that ice bath or go sit in that hot tub. Those were one of your two options.
Yeah, it was also don't play, don't get paid, or don't play, you won't have a spot.
You know what I mean? Like, it literally was like I don't care about, like, when I hear mugs complain about, oh, it's faster, it's harder, it's a different game, it's stronger. Do we really think that if Jerry West had the opportunity to have the training staff, the medical staff, the everything that goes with the modern NBA, the dietitians, all of that stuff that goes with the modern NBA today, that Jerry West wouldn't be able to play basketball? Like, I don't get the one era of basketball versus another. If anything, I have major questions on why are people getting more injuries when literally you have people waiting on you hand and foot. The Bulls literally just go to a hospital.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I take the Chad Ochocinco approach. It's the diet. It's the less callous that you are. Like, I really do believe that. Like, I
Yeah.
really do believe players then they mentally they had no choice. So they willed themselves through a lot of things. And there's a lot of former players that sit there and said they willed themselves through situations that they would have never done if they had other alternatives.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, like, and as Steve-O said, Jerry West would have been nice in some shoes. Like, hey, listen, if he wasn't playing in
Hey,
dress shoes,
bro, I'm telling you, bro, like these months was out here playing in Chuck Taylors, bro.
man, 2 dribble pull-ups in Stacey Adams,
That's why
basically.
they all walk like that's why they all walk like this today when you see them walking down the hall.
That's why the game was so slow too. I don't
Bro,
care
you
what
know what
people.
I mean?
You ain't
Like,
stopping nothing in them shoes. Them is, like I said, hard covered socks. That's
bro,
what
all
those
you
things were.
seen was Mudge just sliding halfway across the field. But here's the thing for me, right at the end of the day with all of this. This is why the NBA is trying to do what? They're really trying to make the NBA regular season interesting again. And I don't believe that this is the way to go about it. Now, I do
Right.
believe that, and it's sad that you have to do this. I do believe that you do have to mandate that these mugs play a minimum of a certain amount of games because you've seen too many people now just go, I'm not playing tomorrow. Or the teams, I should say. I don't know if it's always the player, but a lot of times the team will just go, "You're not playing tomorrow. You running hot." And I don't care that it's a marquee game versus the Boston Celtics. Right now, they're going to have to pick and choose their spots a little bit more. I actually like that dynamic of this entire setup. But when it comes to this in-season tournament, and it's not to say it's not going to help, but I just don't think that it places value in the right place. Now, down the line, maybe it will. But right now, what are we talking about with the in-season tournament? We're talking about what? An extra game. Maybe the Lakers get the face off against like the Nuggets in the in-season tournament because they're in a different bracket or something like that, right? Like maybe you end up getting the finals that you want in the middle of the season. I think that players will be a lot healthier. That part does excite me, but this doesn't make the NBA regular season more interesting to me. The mandate on the games maybe does, but here's the thing. Now you're just going to have a bunch of players that to me are just going through the motions in games. You're going to have games where we're sitting there looking at you and just going, hey, bro, like, why the heck isn't Zach LaVine going hard right now? Oh, you want to know why? Because the team told them that even though he has to play right, here's the thing. You only have to play a certain amount of games. It don't say they can't play you 20 minutes in that game.
That's what I was about to say. You about to see a bunch of people with like 15-minute games
15
and they sit them
minutes.
out.
Zach's playing light tonight. DeMar's playing light tonight. That's all you're gonna see. And yes, the from the fan perspective, I get to see the kids get to see their favorite player play for a little while. But like, it's not changing anything.
No.
If we want to have real change, this is the conversation that I wanted to bring to this pod because I think you got to go back. Think about when we was growing up. How often did we think about the conference? We usually thought about being the best teams in our division. We want to be better than Detroit, Indiana, Cleveland. We want to make sure we were the top teams then. If you were the top team in your division, you were going to be one of the top teams in your conference. But you worried about beating your division. And so I have this question. Does the NFL have it right? Does the NFL have their playoff seeding the right way? And we've talked about this and being stupid and you should go to conference style because you're going to get a team that's subpar in. But you want to know what's important? The entire NFL regular season. You lose a game in week 2, it could absolutely bite you in the butt if you're close down the line in week 17. I think the NBA could be that way if your division winners were the teams that got to the playoffs more times than not. If you went to a more division-based schedule, because if you win your division, now you get whatever seed you get in the playoffs. It all breaks down, but you're in the playoffs.
But that already happened.
But here's the thing. No, because the Bulls wouldn't have made the playoffs last year. The Bulls wouldn't have made the play-in tournament last year.
If you lead your division, you get a playoff seed.
if you lead your division, you do get a playoff seed. But what I'm saying is the importance should be placed on possibly, right? Because there's bad divisions where nobody in that division can make it. If all 4 teams in your division are bad, nobody makes the playoffs. In the NFL, all 4 teams in the NFC East have been trashed for 10 years.
Yeah, so in
Guess
that case, it's
guess
not.
what? Dallas keep making the playoffs.
The one thing I say is I don't think they have it right just because the league it runs contrary to where the league is already going. So the league is already going to a more parity and with each and every team. So I think now you're going to have more teams be able to actually qualify for the playoffs. Like you saw it last season. You saw there was a stark drop off from like the top 2, but then like from 3 through 8, it's like a bunch of it was a very competitive thing. It was only like a 5-6 game spread depending on the conference. And that actually made for exciting basketball. I think the play-in tournament actually ruins that.
But
I think the
here's the
play-in
problem.
tournament makes it so weird because now the play-in tournament was good when you didn't have parity in the league. Now that we have more parity on the teams, you should get rid of the play-in tournament because now I bust my tail. I'm 42 and 40, and now I've got to play somebody who's 38 and 44. And if they beat me, they get into the playoffs. Like, no, they was trash. They didn't qualify. They shouldn't even be in the conversation. You
But
do not have over 500 wins.
here's your problem though. This is what the NBA is trying to fix. When do we start caring about the season?
I understand. Well, we start caring about the season at the All-Star break.
Like, but that's 50 games into the season. That means you got 50 games where the NBA is trying to make up viewership, where the NBA is trying to make teams care about the season because the teams don't care about the NBA regular season either. That's what it comes down to. The teams are like, hey, listen, we lost a random game to the Timberwolves in January. Who gives a
Hey, they should change the scheduling. You should be playing your toughest opponents right between that.
Yeah,
You
but
should,
you gotta balance everything out. Everybody's got to play twice. That somebody's going to end up with a schedule because of how many teams there are. Where it's like, oh, it's not that hard. Here's my thing: if your top 2 teams in each division are guaranteed a playoff spot, you're gonna play harder. What we've done in the NBA is we've made it so that there's more playoff vibe basketball. Right, where like, oh, we got the play-in tournament, we got the right, like the what is the new in-season tournament, right? Where
yeah.
like you're just trying to make a playoff atmosphere more times than not. But teams just don't care. And so for me, right, like I look at this and I say, if you have a wild card matchup instead of just the top 8 make it, which the play-in tournament isn't a wild card matchup, it's like, oh, I'm at 10, I made it. You just made it easier. You watered it down. You basically gave 10 teams a chance to make the playoffs. That's not the way to go.
You know what? I give you that. How about we do this? How about I meet you where you are with that? And why don't we just include 10 teams each conference instead of 8?
I don't want that either. Because here's the thing, you're devaluing the playoffs when you do that. Right? Even I think the NFL is going too far. They've added basically another wild card slot. They're probably going to end up adding another one. You're going to have half your teams in the league that make the playoffs.
It's just too much talent. You have to.
Hey, listen. No, I don't. You want to know why? Because if you're not talented enough, you don't make the playoffs.
Let me ask you this.
That's all it should be. The Bulls at 10 shouldn't have been in a chance to make the playoffs last season. The Miami Heat shouldn't have had an opportunity to go try and win an NBA Finals. Like that's just it. And for me, you're just making
I
it.
actually challenge that because the Miami Heat should not have even been threatened to not make the playoffs. They have a better record than Chicago, Toronto, and Atlanta.
Were they a regular playoff? No, they was a regular playoff team. So they should have made the playoffs then.
So they were 44
they
and 38.
But that's
they
what
should
I'm saying,
never
right?
have had to play in the play-in my opinion.
That's
what
facts,
I don't like.
Facts. But to me, you're having too much opportunity. Like if you were going to make play-in teams a thing, it should have just been with the teams that you already had in playoff spots. You should have had it to, okay, your play-in teams are now 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, and 8. It shouldn't have been. Let's add 2 more. If you want to do that whole play-in tournament style thing, you know what I mean? Because to me, the play-in tournament is just watering it down. And yes, it has been exciting. I can't deny, right? Like that those games aren't exciting. The one game play-in. But at the end of the day, you're getting the Atlanta Hawks in who just get their head kicked in.
You know what, dog? You said take it back to back in the day. Here's my thought process: 10 teams, 9 and 10 play best out of 5. Like it
Are you
used to
talking
be.
10 teams in total or 10 teams in the conference?
10 teams each conference.
Oh, that's too many teams.
9 and 10 play best out of 5 series, like it used to be. That's the part that people keep forgetting. Jordan played best out of 5 series up to the finals. So it was no fill out games. It was no, oh, we get them back. It was like, no, we had to win every game. Like it was pressure from day one. It's it's first to 3, not first to 4. It's a big difference.
Yeah, but even then, right now you're just adding 2 mediocre teams in there.
Not really. So if you look at the standings, I take the Western Conference last season. The difference between the 10th seed and the number 1 was 11 games. The difference between the number 3 and number 10 was 6. Difference between 4 and number 10 was 3 games.
Yeah, but the difference in the skill level of those teams
is
very different.
This is Phoenix Suns after KD, but before they get everyone they have now, versus the New Orleans Pelicans.
The Pelicans would have got washed. Zion Williamson wasn't there.
I don't think the Pelicans would have got washed. I think the Phoenix Suns would have won, but I don't think it would have been a wash because the New Orleans Pelicans were actually made a decent push.
They made a decent push, but I think the thing is that's the point of the play-in tournament, right? Can a team be hot one time? You're trying to make it that March Madness feel. You're trying to capture that March Madness feeling, and I think that's
not
the
how the game works. Like can a team get hot one time? One of the most dominant teams in history lost one game to a team they shouldn't have lost to. It was the Lakers, and they lost the game to Philly. Like, there's no way in the world Allen Iverson's going to beat Kobe and Shaq, but he did one good game. But they got swept the rest of it, legitimate sweep.
But that's the feeling that they're trying to go for. That's what they're trying to capture.
No.
I'm telling you, that's what it is.
But that's stupid, though. In the game of football, I get it. I don't need to play this team twice. Like, football is too physical of a game. That makes perfect sense. Basketball, it absolutely doesn't make sense to try to capture that on a professional level when you have 40 freaking years, more than 40 years,
but here's
elimination style basketball being at least, hey, if you're gonna do it, go back to best of 5. Don't do the one game playing in thing, but I made the playoffs, but you didn't make the playoffs. So now this is like a charity game for you. Like, I made it.
But that's my point with all of this, right? That happens because no one cares about winning games in the regular season. You only got to win enough. The Bulls won 40 games last year, had a chance to make the playoffs, and probably could have actually be with how we saw some of those teams playing in the playoffs versus the Miami Heat and stuff like that, probably could have actually competed.
But here's the thing, though. The Bulls actually having a chance to make the playoffs actually kind of makes sense. Hear me out. I know what you're about to say. The number 10, the gap between 10 and the gap between, let's go, 5 with 6 games. Like, seed 10 through 6 were very, very close. So you having that makes sense. Like, if the Bulls didn't make it, the Atlanta Hawks would have won.
But here's the thing: you having that means that I don't have to compete. If
like
if the Bulls beat Miami, the Bulls make the playoffs. They play the Bucks in the first round. The Bucks were horrible, and Giannis got hurt. The Bulls move on.
I think we still lose that round.
Either way, right? Like, but what I'm saying is there's that opportunity. So, like, no matter what, the Bulls won 40 games last year. Miami won 44. Now they were the 8th seed, so okay, they in there. But like when we have these conversations about this, right? Like it all comes back to winning isn't important in basketball. Winning in the regular season is not important. The Miami Heat were a little better than mediocre.
And the reason you can't go back to the top 2 in your division is because the Atlantic Division had 4 teams in the playoffs.
The Atlantic Division.
Boston, Philly, New York, and Brooklyn.
But see, here's my thing with that, right?
It's just too
Guess
much
what?
parity.
Guess what? No, I get you, right? I get you. Boston, Philly, New York, and Brooklyn all make the playoffs. Your top 2 teams make it. Guess what? Now New York got to kick it in. You can't waste the regular season game.
Mind you,
You can't blow your team up in the middle of the season.
that's Eastern Conference. Each conference
That's
has
Eastern
3
Conference, right?
divisions.
So look, this is my point. Your top 2 make it. Philly and Boston are in. Milwaukee Bucks and Cleveland are in. Hawks and Heat are in. And it's only 3? Yeah, it's only 3.
It's only 3.
Atlantic Central. So that's your 6. Your last 2 are wild card spots. So then it's just best of the best, right? Now you're getting that competition because guess what? Yes, New York, both New York teams.
I can't do that because the Knicks were 47 and 35. They'd be literally battling with teams that were under 500. Like,
but
no,
kid,
I can't do that. I almost won 50 games.
But kid, we see that all the time in other sports. All the time. We see in the NFL that happens.
What?
There are teams that think about this. Their team when the NFC West was cracking. There could have been 4 teams that made the playoffs. 2 of them didn't. And they had better records than people in the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys end up making the playoffs. They had better records. What I'm saying is it forces you to have to do that. It forces you to have to be the best in your division, which is going to force you to have to play the best competition. Because guess what? If now the Knicks and Nets are in competition with the Bulls and Pacers, I don't want to be in competition with the Bulls and Pacers. So what I'm going to do, I got to make sure I'm in the top 2. Now I got to win games in the regular season.
Yeah, but
that's my point. If you want to make the regular season entertaining, you can't just say you won 38 games. Go ahead and see if you can make the playoffs and get on a run.
But that makes sense for football. That makes sense.
I think even
baseball is a series-based playoff.
And baseball has a 1-game play-in.
Yeah, they do have a 1-game play-in
and it's actually one of the most exciting games in sports. I'm not gonna
lie. But like if I'm not mistaken, those teams are like normally like evenly matched or have like a
not at all. The White Sox got in over a 98 win team one year. The White Sox had won 70 games.
No sense to me.
Or no, the White Sox had won like 85 games. They got in over a 98 win team one year. Like that happens all the time. But see, baseball is a different sport because baseball, right? The best team in baseball rarely wins the World Series.
Which I've noticed, which is what's amazing to me.
The best team in baseball, it's hard. Deion Sanders said it. Baseball is the hardest sport to play because, I mean, when you think about it, my dad always used to say this, it never made no sense to me, but it really is. You got a round bat and a round ball, and you got to hit it square for it to go forward. That don't make sense, but you do. You know what I mean? Like you got a round bat and a cylinder, and you got to hit it square to make it go forward. But to me, it's one of those things where even in baseball, right? Like that's just, do you have the best pitcher on that day? In basketball, that don't happen. In basketball, if I got LeBron James, I got LeBron James every day. Like it's one out of 9 in baseball. So right, like if you the best player, if you are Shohei Ohtani, I got to see you 4 times. Guess what I'm gonna do? I ain't pitching to you.
Hey,
you like, gonna beat me? Nope. But it's in basketball, to me, you can have a situation where your best of the best should be competing, and we don't have that. To me, your best players are always going to be on top. Your best, your Giannis's, your Jason Tatum's, they're always going to be at the top of your division. After that, when you get to that mid tier, that's where your parity's coming in. There's not 10 dudes in the NBA that are on Giannis level or on Jokic level. So after that, that's where your parity comes in. When you get to your Trae Young, Zach LaVine's, DeJounte Murray's, your Julius Randle's, well, that was kind of Kevin Durant team, and then they end up trading mid-season, right? But like, to me, when you get to that point, that's when you want to start to create more of that competition that's coming up on the back end.
I feel you. Like, I can't disagree with what you're saying because you're giving a perspective that I actually do kind of appreciate. We're all just trying to make the game of basketball like more interesting. Yet I can't see it being effective because one, this season more than any other season, we actually saw people play. Like They actually played most of their games, except for a handful of
All of the
people.
Clippers.
All but injury is injury. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do any. We can make the jokes about it, and it's valid jokes, right? Like, but injury is injury.
Well, no, the Clippers literally said we just gonna hold Kawhi out till he gets to the playoffs, and then he got hurt again. That's a
Facts.
whole different thing.
So outside of a handful of people, we're talking
Yeah.
about maybe 4.
Yeah.
You got your Zion situation, whatever that is, PG, Kawhi, and what, Ben Simmons?
Well, that's a whole different situation.
You really didn't have people not trying to play. Kyrie played. Kyrie
Well, I
played a
think
good
the
enough
thing
game
is,
on New York. He played a good enough games in Dallas. In fact, when he got to Dallas, he played every game he was available.
I think the problem is that it's like I said at the beginning, the teams don't care. Your teams don't care that about the regular season. They just don't. The Clippers don't care about the regular season. They literally sat Kawhi. They said he's not going to play for weeks at a time. He didn't play the first 2 weeks of the season. Finally comes in, plays 2 games, sits the next 8.
You would have to restructure the conferences on the West too, because you go Northwest, it's Denver and Minnesota.
Yep.
Pacific, you go Sacramento, Phoenix. You know who else is in that conference? Clippers, Golden State, and the Lakers. Soon as I said the Lakers, you know that change ain't happening.
Well, listen.
Hey, listen. If the Lakers are impacted, if the Celtics are impacted, it's not happening.
Here's the thing: if the NBA started making changes based on the fact that the Windy City Breeze is making, is talking with 43 people in here and only 20 of them hit that like button. I see y'all. Hit the like button. Stop playing with me. But no, if the NBA start making changes off of that, we got we need a bigger audience. You know what I mean?
Fact.
But to me, I think that it's not far-fetched because guess what? Yeah, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers, they don't make the playoffs. Y'all got to improve. That's an embarrassment on your franchise. Your franchise look bad. Y'all losing to the Kings? And you already know how many great Lakers are already in the media. They're going to be trashing y'all. Shaq going to cook y'all losing to the King. He already cooking you with LeBron and all of them at the end of it, just being at the bottom, and they still made the play. The 5th seed, or the 5th place team in the Pacific made the playoffs.
They were that good. They were that good. And that's what I appreciate. Any team that's above 500, I think, has a fighting chance to make the playoffs. If you compare it to their contemporaries, you compare it to other teams, if you're not that far off, I can see it making sense. Baseball, if I got 13 games on you, hey, sit down. I ain't trying to hear that. Like, I don't like. Football, I get it. Just because of physicality, I ain't saying I like it, but I'm saying, hey, listen, we ain't gonna play you twice. Like, I can't play you twice.
Who's supposed to be in the playoffs, though, right?
Say what?
Who's supposed to be in the playoffs? Your best of the best.
This year, the best of the best got in. The best of the best got in. And they would have got in without the play-in tournament.
Are the Lakers that much better than the Pelicans? Talent-wise, they should be, but not what we saw on the court.
Well, yeah, they were. They not only did they have more wins, but as a
they
unit,
had one more win.
They had one more win. They are also the 7th seed. They got one more win, and they are tied. The Pelicans were tied with Minnesota. So that's a fair fight. Hey, y'all duke that out. Y'all got tied records, whatever. Best team win. I see that. But if I got more wins than you, we fight over the last 2 spots. I got more wins than you.
To me,
I played you. I got to play you several times throughout the season.
The NBA has done everything that they can, and a lot of moves that they've made to eliminate competition. And the teams have fallen into it. And so that's why I don't blame. When I look at the teams that don't care about the regular season, the NBA hasn't cared about the regular season. The league itself. And now Adam Silver is he realizes it. That's why he's trying to bring this in-season tournament in.
But what teams don't care anymore with the level of parity that you have?
The Clippers don't care. The Clippers literally did not care about the regular season. They said, we're not playing guys for stretches of the season. It wasn't injury that stopped Kawhi Leonard. It was the team. The Spurs don't care. Now the Spurs are in a bad situation, but even when the Spurs were winning, when the Spurs had Tim Duncan, they the ones that started all this. This is why Pop hated. This is why he's still coaching, looking like old man River
I
out here.
don't know
No
what
disrespect to Pop, but Pop
Yeah.
it's getting old out here, dog. Like this is why you're here, because Pop would get to the end of the season, his team would have 20 games to go, and Pop would have 55 wins, and he would say, "We not playing nobody.
The
We
only
getting 5 wins the rest of the way."
there's only 2 teams last season I could say did that. It's Clippers for sure, and toward the end, Dallas. That's
Yeah,
it.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? If I would, well, no, Dallas did it to lose. Yeah, you're right. Dallas did it as
Dallas
well.
did
But
them last because they could have got in.
Dallas did it to tank, and they didn't want to win. But here's my thing with all of it is, if I win enough games in the beginning, I don't have to. Everybody sit down. The regular season is not important. If I go through and I find a way to 50 wins early, boom, everybody sit
Man,
down, chill.
this mid-season tournament ain't important. I ain't
None
gotta
of it.
win. I ain't gotta win this tournament. What are we talking
But
about?
that's what I'm saying, right? Like
I get paid enough to play it in
is,
the first place.
I'm not gonna lie to you. We probably won't be coming back to find old episodes and stuff like that. But if we got a big enough staff to do it at that point, we will. But in all honesty, this is a stepping stone. The NBA is gonna make the in-season tournament important. The NBA is gonna put playoff implications on this in-season tournament. That's where we headed. And I think that's the part where I'm like, I'm trying to give Muggs a solution that seems like, okay, at least it's about being competitive. Do y'all realize in overseas, which is what this tournament is going to become, if you win your midseason tournament, you're automatically in. You automatically have a spot in the playoff. You could lose the rest of the way. LeBron James get hurt middle of the season. Lakers in the playoffs.
Whack.
Hey, I'm telling you, that's where you headed.
You heading to a 10 team playoff. That's what you head to. Everything else.
You're heading towards. It's like, and you want to think the NBA. Think about how the teams are now, and think about how much they rest guys, how much they don't play guys in games that feel like they should be. You know, like Boston and versus the Lakers. Not Boston versus the Lakers. KD versus LeBron. KD and LeBron ain't played each other in 7 years. They have not played each other in a regular season game, I believe, in 7 years.
No, they ain't faced off in 7 years.
It don't matter. It's not important. Who cares? And so what they're going to do is, I'm going to win this midseason tournament, which means I have to compete. What's the tournament? Tournament's like 30 games in or something. I got to compete for the first 30 games. If I win out the first 30 games, I'm in the playoffs. Pack it in. That's what we heading towards. Hey, you already in there. Just don't get hurt. Everybody go through it. And so for me, I like competition. I hate this stupid play-in tournament because I think it takes away competition. It's competition for one game. You got one game where it's like, all right, we didn't play well all season. I can go hard today. My back's against the wall. Think about this. The Miami Heat went to the NBA Finals. They almost lost to the Bulls. If Billy Donovan don't make one of the most bonehead decisions I've seen a coach make by just being like, hey, we're not going to put the two guys in Kobe White and Andre Drummond that have dominated them. If he don't take them out the game, the Miami Heat don't get a finals run.
Man, I feel like that fix was in. I watched that game again because it was trending on Twitter.
It don't make no sense.
And I was just like, why did he do that?
It don't make no sense.
Kobe White did hit some key three. Now, in full transparency, there was some plays that was like, well, I can see why he took Kobe White out.
Well, I think,
but not Andre Drummond. I don't get the
tough
Drummond
part was
thing.
Drummond was playing well. You took Drummond out to put Vooch back in for the offensive part of the ball because it was a close game. But it was like, yeah, but he was taking all the rebounds away. But for me, this is what I'm saying, though, right? Like the NBA is taking away competition at every turn. They've made things easier. That's why I don't sit here and like, listen, the NBA is hard. I get it. But when mugs sit there and they be like, oh, these mugs back in the day couldn't have done it. They wouldn't have made it this far. They wouldn't be in the league, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, y'all have the greatest trainers. Y'all have the greatest medical staff. Y'all have you have everything that you could ever want. And you want to play less games. The NBA had to invoke a mandate so that legacies will change if you don't play 65 games. They said it is 65 games because Muggs is playing less than 65 games. It's 82. I had to literally say, I will destroy your the NBA said, I will destroy your legacy if you don't play. That's literally what they said. Because guess what? At the end of the day, we're not going to talk about the fact that somebody didn't play 65 games. We're going to talk about the fact that so-and-so didn't win an MVP that season. You didn't get sixth man of the year. You didn't get defensive player of the year. When we look at your rap sheet at the end of their careers, we're going to be sitting there breaking down what the accolades are. And at the end of the day, just like we do with everything else, we're going to be like, he was cold, but he wasn't no DPOY.
And what's crazy is there's a lot of people who didn't get any of those nods that already exist. I think that's going to actually be that's a double-edged sword. Sean Marion is a good example of that. You know, Sean Marion has no all-team defensive, not first nor second, not even a third, nothing. You know, he had multiple seasons averaging 2.2 steals.
Yep.
2.2 steals a game for a season. That's a
Yep.
lot of steals. Not even mentioned. So not only did he lead his team in steals, or was one of the team leaders in steals.
He averaged 2 steals for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years straight, followed by a season where he averaged 1.9.
How many all-team defensive did he get?
He got none. He got 19. Dang, that mother came in at 99. I don't know why that seems so long ago. He got 99 all rookie. He got a 4-time all-star. That's actually pretty impressive. I didn't know he was a 4-time all-star. And he was
How did you not know?
he was 2-time all NBA. I don't remember no all-star moments for Sean Marion. What's all Sean Marion best all-star moment?
Phoenix. Steve Nash is single-handedly responsible. Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni. I got to give Mike D'Antoni credit for this. Steve Nash is responsible for 3 of the most dangerous offenses in NBA history.
Yeah, but I don't remember no moments.
Highest scoring or highest pace. I forgot which one it was.
Both of them. Both of them. But I don't remember no moments from the All-Star game as well.
And Sean Marion had Sean Marion in a corner with that little scoop shot, like that, just knocking him down while averaging 2 steals a game.
No, I get you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild. So I think it's a double-edged sword because players.
But here's the thing: Sean Marion was never going to be a DPOY. He was never the best defensive player in the NBA.
All team first defense, baby. I don't need to be DPOY, because back then, defensive player of the year went to a big man.
Yeah, but also back then, more people focused on defense. You got to think Sean Marion came in 99. There was a lot of dudes who their whole job on the team was just to guard. Hey, what do? Defend.
In his prime, though, was he going to beat Ben Wallace for DPOY? No, it went to a big man. A lot of big men won defensive player of the year.
Don't Tony Allen got a couple?
Who?
Don't Tony Allen got a couple?
I don't believe so.
Tony Allen might not have a DPOY. That's actually crazy. Yeah, it's true. Tony Allen might not have a DPOY.
Yo, he's highly regarded as one of the best defenders in the
Tony
league.
Allen legit was the best defender.
Oh, but he's 6-time all defensive though.
Yeah, he got on the list.
He's 6-time all defensive.
He got on the list. He does not have a DPOY. 2008 NBA champion. Who the heck was Tony Allen with? Boston?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He stuck Kobe.
Oh, that's true. This is true. It didn't work, but it's true.
It worked. Kobe shot horrible against Tony Allen.
But at the end of the day, it's one of those things for me, and I don't want to drag this on, and especially since we got to get up out of here. But I don't want to drag this thing on. But it's the NBA to me is one of the best playoffs that there is. But there's literally 60 games of a season that we don't care.
Man, listen.
Think about it, right? I'm guaranteeing the Bulls are going to win 20. The Bulls will win 20 games in the first half of the season for sure. Guaranteed. That means I care about you winning 25 more games.
Pat, I'm going to be honest with you. You know what the real issue is going to be now? Not even a play-in tournament. This is what's going to all of this connected. I'm going to take you far away and I'm going to bring you back.
That's normal.
Shut up. Shut up. You have 3 of the, let's just say, most notable players right now on the fence as to where they're going to be.
Who?
Joel Embiid potentially maybe making some moves. May request. He should. I'm gonna be honest with you. He should get out of Philly. Uh, James Harden. The fall
I
off
don't
is
care.
there.
No one cares.
Dame Lillard, who should get out of Portland.
I
Like,
mean, but we know. I don't think it's a question on either.
right.
James is the only one, or not James. Joel is the only one.
So here's the thing. Let's just say these hypothetical trades impact actually go like this 4-team hypothetical trade for Dame, which actually wasn't a bad trade. I don't like it because I don't like the pieces that the Bulls get, but it wasn't a bad trade. But that totally shifts the power dynamic in two conferences to the point where now this play-in tournament and mid-season tournament may actually mean a whole lot more. And since you're not guaranteed a playoff spot, it's like ultimately you now get, we might have some of the best basketball we've ever seen from that perspective. If you really think about it, like what if Dame absolutely ends up not in Miami? Let's just say he ends up in New York for some reason. How does that just tweaked me out?
I know. I blocked him.
I just saw a bunch. I was like, did I do something? Like, let's really think about it. Like, what happens if Dame ends up in Miami? I mean, in New York,
Here's the thing, though.
Brooklyn.
Right?
It ends up in Brooklyn.
This is the problem that's gonna happen. No one's helping no one. Nobody's helping Miami. Nobody's helping Portland. So with all of that, it doesn't matter because them the only two teams that's gonna make a trade. You know what Dame is heading for, and I really think this might happen. He just gonna have to decide whether he gonna play for Portland or sit.
Well, he can't sit. He can't sit.
That's all. That's that. Because here's the thing: Miami has nothing to send. I don't want what they're sending. Portland, or not me, right? Like, but Portland don't want what they're sending. You're not sending me. You're sending me Jaime Jaquez, Tyler Hero, and Duncan Robinson.
Actually, Miami doesn't want to send Jaime Jaquez.
They don't want. They holding everything up for Jaime Jaquez, Mr. Captain Morgan out here. Like that's what's the hold up here. Hey, I'm gonna do all this. Jaime Jaquez gonna become a Hall of Fame player, one of the best players we've seen. He gonna have a fade by the start of the season. He gonna be cooking.
Miami is gonna do the same thing they did with Victor Oladipo. They gonna sit there, bet on Dame, go sign John Wall, probably try to get DeMarcus Cousins. All the people who we say should be in the league, Pat Riley give them a chance.
And they're gonna pair him, right up with Jimmy Butler. That's it.
Jimmy Butler and what's the name?
But it's to me, it's this, right? Here's the thing. Dame gotta be there. This is the NBA. This is what we've seen recently. NBA teams are saying, I'm not going to lose to make you happy.
I'm happy.
Like that's really what teams are saying. And it's not to say I don't want the power in the players' hands, but the players have taken too many liberties. And guess what? With the players taking those liberties, the casualties are Dame Lillard, James Harden,
there you go.
Ben Simmons, all of those guys that we really don't care about being D-bags. The casualty is the one dude that we want to get up out.
I don't know what James Harden thought. And I did make a video on this. I really don't think Daryl Morey did him wrong. I think the Clippers didn't give them what he thought they would give him. And he's like, I can't give you away for nothing.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I didn't lie. I tried to trade you. I tried to get you where you want to go.
Yep.
But
I don't know. I don't know what conversations were had in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like maybe Daryl Morey was like, the deal is done. And he came back like, you got to stay. Like, I don't.
But let's be real. Let's talk about that part. Let's just say it's me and you. Hey, you know what? I don't be here. I'm going somewhere else. Cool. We're going to try to facilitate this. If they give me the sign that the deal is good, I'm going to come to you and say, hey, man, it seems like it's good. It seems like we're good to go. Appreciate you. If they come back and say, nah, we don't want that.
I don't know what he's saying he's a liar about, so I can't say one way or the other. Right? Like maybe he did lie. Guess what? I don't know if I talked to Lance Briggs about this yesterday on the Bears pod. I said,
they be lying all the time.
Hey, bro, I said, Lance, you've never played for anybody who lied to you, right? Lance just went. Okay, bro, it's like, guess what? People that high up lie.
Hey,
they do.
Charles Barkley's story about how he got lied to
Oh,
was the
bro, by
funniest
Phoenix?
story, bro.
Are y'all shopping me? We're not shopping you. Like,
We're not
Charles,
shopping. You're our only
if
player.
we
This, that, and the
trade
other.
for you, are you gonna want a new contract?
My man called him back like 3 times.
Hey, bro.
Yo, that's the wildest story. He was like, they ain't shopping me, bruh. They ain't shopping me.
If we trade for you, are you gonna want a new contract? No, but it's the James Harden situation. Like, this is the casualties of what the players before. Hey, there's a cause and effect for everything.
That's a fact.
I know players just thought that there was going to be no repercussions. We got the power. We can do what we want. Why can the team not do this, but I can't do this? And now this. Guess what? This is what you get. You want to know what's going to happen? Dame's going to die in Portland. Damian Lillard's probably going to retire. I would not be surprised if by the end of this season, Damian Lillard said, if he's not moved, I'm done. No, because he's already said, I don't like how the modern NBA is.
Dame is gonna get traded. Dame is gonna get traded. Portland's done. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Not for nothing. You want to know why? Because guess what? Portland wants to rebuild their team anyway. They already got the 3 pieces they wanted to rebuild with. Everything else is garnish. The only player you getting back that you really want in that situation is what? Tyler Hero?
Hey, listen. The holdup was one player who's not a star player, who's not an all-star player, who's not a superstar. If that's the only holdup, they're gonna get it done. Because at the end of the day,
I think Portland just wanted
they wanted to try to strong arm Pat Riley.
Hey, bro. Hey, listen.
And Pat Riley is like,
hey, bro. Here's the thing: you can't how you strong arm somebody for nothing.
Hey, first of all, he's like,
Jaime Hawkins.
He's like, you're doing. I'm giving you 4 picks. I'm giving you 2 pick swaps. I'm giving you 2 other players. Take your win and leave. Like, stop playing with me.
But here's the thing: I can't be mad. Here's why I can't be mad at Portland. Because what do we say about Pat Riley? Pat Riley not gonna lose. Pat Riley's not gonna lose a deal. There's been many deals on the table where Pat Riley could have got the better player, but he chose not to because he was sending back the wrong stuff. I'm not gonna fault Portland if they feel like we losing this deal. At the end of the day, you're sending Dame. No matter what you're sending, you're losing the deal. I'm not gonna fault Portland when I praise Pat Riley for it. Because guess what? When this deal get done, guess what everybody gonna say? Oh, Pat Riley won this deal. He gets Damian Lillard. Yes, they lose these picks, but you know what? You can go out and win you a championship with this team. And they probably are gonna go add Boogie Cousins. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have a tough time not rooting for Miami. It's gonna be Jimmy Butler and Boogie. I might have to get a jersey. I'm just saying. I'm gonna hide it though. I'm not gonna be proud.
There's 3 names I want people to understand, and they making their media circuits right now too. Anytime there's smoke, there's fire. If you got Stephen A saying it, you got a bunch of other people saying it, you're going to see DeMarcus Cousins on the roster.
I don't know. I think
Isaiah Thomas is going to be on the roster. John Wall is going to be on the roster.
Isaiah Thomas, I don't think will be on the roster. Isaiah Thomas to me is he hasn't brought nothing in his last few spots. You keep hyping him up, but I'm gonna tell you this: he been bad. He have one game everywhere he go, and it helped him averages. He have a game where he put up 35. He was cooking in LA. It'd be like, no, he put up 7 the next 5 games.
He's a very one-sided player. What I mean by that is because of his height, because of
he got to score. He got to be scoring.
He's a scorer.
He got to be scoring.
What's Jalen Brunson's main thing right now? Scoring.
Jalen Brunson a good facilitator. He made the rest of that team better. All of a sudden, Julius Randle had no choice but to go right because he put the ball right at the rim in his right hand.
Man, please. Julius Randle finally had a point guard that could score. That's what it was.
Julius Randle, he catching the ball in his right hand like, man, you can make layups with this hand? I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Please. When's the last good New York point guard?
Oh, Stockton. Nah, Jay Kidd.
New York?
Yeah, Jason Kidd.
Played in New York.
He played for the Knicks.
And was good.
Yeah. That's where he played with Amon Shumpert. Remember?
He wasn't all that good in New York, dog.
he was still a facilitator, dog.
Hey, listen, no, that's cap right there. Hold on, you got to pull up these stats right now.
I think he played with Melo.
No, dog.
Hold on, let's see. Knicks, he was 6 points on 26 minutes. This
was his last season too. Get the heck out of here, bro. Stop playing with me.
You said the last good point guard.
Hey,
the Nets man averaged 6 points. The Nets was still in Brooklyn when he No, the Nets was still in New Jersey when he was there.
Dog, he averaged 6 points and 3
Hey,
assists.
3 assists, bro. 3 of the loudest assists you ever seen.
Boy, heck out of here. This man gonna try to stretch it too.
I don't know. Jeremy Lin?
That's how Jeremy Lin.
It was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks.
was a
Melo
week.
ended his career.
Like,
I
hey,
don't
it
care
was
what nobody
11
said.
games.
Carmelo Anthony ended Jeremy Lin's career.
Hey, it was 11 games. So I'm just saying, just take it back from that. The last good point guard that played in New York was Starks. And he was a 2, technically.
Hey, it ain't pretty.
Right? So New York finally has a
2.
point guard. They got a forward, and they got the Canadian, who I think is trash, but I mean he averaged.
Well, nah, we tweaking.
Who? Raymond Felton?
No, gross. Shut up. Wasn't Marbury still cold when he went over there?
That was last 20 years?
Bro, that's
That
after
was 03.
You said Starks.
Oh yeah, I did go back to Starks, didn't I?
You went back to Starks. That's 30 years ago.
Hey, I'm cherry picking like a mother, man. It's like I'm trying to play you. Like I should even. Yeah, you right.
I'm like, didn't Stephon Marbury have a run now? I'm tweaking.
I'm saying, but Marbury though, like that man had done retired,
then went to China and cooked,
then won like 5 championships.
Hey,
he got a statue in China.
Hey, this one is ugly, right? I googled top 10 New York point guards of the last 10 years. Jose Calderon is 10.
Jose Calderon.
Dennis Smith Jr. is 9. I don't even think he really played there.
Jesus.
Langston Galloway. Trey Burke, gross. Jay Kidd, he's on the list. He's 5.
Bro, he's number 5.
Emmanuel Mudiay.
He played 1 year.
Elfrid Payton. Raymond Felton, and then they got Derrick Rose as number 1. So I guess move everybody down 1 spot because now it's Jalen Brunson.
My man V-Dog
said Derrick Rose is number 1.
Mark Jackson played there, and Mark Jackson did.
Mark Jackson was a good PG, but Mark Jackson played there
too. How come they didn't put him on that list?
Mark Jackson played there before.
Mark Jackson played there. He started his career there.
Yeah, he played there before Marbury. So Marbury is probably the last one. Wait, did they say Stephon Marbury on that list?
They didn't say Stephon Marbury.
Well, who wrote this list?
Hey, this is why right here, y'all be thinking we playing. Some of these people do not love the game of basketball, bro.
Some of these people just be talking.
Because Stephon Marbury averaged 21 and 8 in 04 and didn't make the list. In fact, he had the highest point total out of all the point guards that we just named.
Who, Stephon Marbury?
Yeah.
Marbury was a dog. It's undeniable. Stephon Marbury was a dog.
That's crazy. Hey, man. Listen, it was a dead day. We glad that y'all sat there and rocked with us on this NBA breeze. Once we get back to the season, we actually have stuff to talk
Once we got both seasons, I mean, listen, we live calling the game Saturday. We got joint practices tomorrow, so that'll be something to look forward to and talk to, even though they're late as heck. Joint practices at like 6 o'clock, so we might go a little bit. I might do a little bit later show tomorrow just because of how freaking late it is.
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Wednesday, so you won't be there. You won't be there, but hey, man, we'll make it work. We're gonna figure all this out. But at the end of the day, we almost 2 real sports. That's what it comes down to. We almost 2 real sports. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Chop it up with y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. One love. Peace.